Don't vote for me for president. So one of the cards suggested videos within this video is politics in 2050, and it explains how politics might evolve in the future over the next 30 years. And right now we're at a stalemate because Republicans and Democrats dislike each other. And I'm actually an independent because I don't believe in moral equivalency, but there's some things I like on the conservative side and there's some things I like on the liberal side. So let me just say a quick comment about that, and then get into the future of politics and also some other political factors going on right now. So what I like about Republicans is that they believe in incentives and they believe in free markets. I don't believe in totally free markets because I think markets can become predatory if there's no guardrails. But I believe that capitalism is better than socialism. I think that when people have an incentive to work hard, they should be rewarded. I don't think I don't think one person should have all the money necessarily, because it's not fair to other people who are also working hard. But I believe you should get more rewards based upon how much value you give to the market. I don't think it should be predatory. I think there should be an even playing field. But I don't believe in socialism. They say that just like democracy is the worst form of government except for all others, I believe capitalism is the worst form of economic system except for all the others. I mean, it's if you don't incentivize people to work hard and to provide value, then people will be lazy and they'll just expect someone else to do something for them. So that I support Republicans in that in terms of free markets, but free markets with guardrails. Now, I support Democrats in the sense that I think it does take a village. There's a lot of what they call public good. Like, we need good roads, we need bridges, we need good public schools. I think even healthcare, is a public right. I don't believe everything should be free. Like, I don't believe in a free college, but I do believe that nobody is successful on their own. And I think, Democrats have an idea of, that we all have to support each other for the common good. And I agree with that. But I think anything can get carried away. Like, Democrats, if they get too much on that idea, then it becomes entitlement, which is bad, and it becomes dependency. You think that everybody owes you something, and you think that everybody should do something for you. People should do things for each other, but up to a point. And Republicans, if they go to the extreme, then it becomes selfishness and greed. It's just about me, and it's not about anybody else. So there has to be a common ground. So I want to talk a little bit about maturity. And they say that we get the politics that we tolerate, and that's true. Like Tony Robbins says, you get in life what you tolerate. But I think we also get the politics that we deserve. And right now, we're in a state of crisis in politics because we're in a state of crisis in our lives. Like, our societal, collective happenings reflect our inner collective states of being. And right now, we're not seeing us all as connected. It's like, we're all Americans. We all want to have good lives. We all want to have, healthy children. We all want to have, clean drinking water. We all want to be, have freedom, but allow the other person to have freedom. I mean, there's a lot of things that we all basically agree on as Americans. We all want to be safe. Most people believe in, space, exploring space. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have in common that, don't need to divide us. And I mentioned space because when you get up in space, all the astronauts say the same thing, that there are no boundaries. Now, and they say, like, we all bleed, I was going to say we all bleed green. Some people say that like everybody's materialistic for money, but we all bleed red. I mean, we're all human beings, and we all have pain, we all have suffering, we all have joy, and we all bleed, and when we bleed, we all bleed red. Now, when I ran for governor back in 2010, I did better than some of the other candidates, but I didn't make it as far as I want. And I was kind of like naive because I believe that the best ideas win. And I really had solutions that would help propel the state forward, but I didn't have as much money as some candidates. And, what it is that people nowadays, they live in echo chambers. Like they say, never insult your customer because the customer knows best. But I believe in leadership that you have to get out in front of your customer a little bit. Like even Henry Ford, he said that if he asked people what they wanted, they would just say a faster horse instead of a car. And even Steve Jobs, he said that people don't know what they want until they see it. I mean, I agree and I disagree with that. I think people do know what they want, but I think what people want can evolve. And I think, even if people don't know what they want, even if people don't know what they want, they know what they don't want. So I think, customers are smart and never insult the intelligence of your customer. But at the same time, you have to educate your customer and you have to show your customer possibilities that they didn't know existed before. It's the same thing in politics. Like right now, people just are entrenched in, my side's going to win, my side's going to win. But stalemate is stalemate. I'm not saying like one side might not eventually win. They might or may not win. Like some wars, like real wars in the past, they went on for decades and then one side eventually won. So it's possible. But they'll only win if the ideas win, because everything else is just a proxy for ideas. Like capitalism versus socialism is an idea. Love versus hate is an idea. It's like whichever idea, produces better results will win, just like the better product will win in the marketplace. So right now we're tolerating, hating the other side. And some people actually even enjoy that. They feel like it's a battle and the battles are fun. But we don't realize that we're wasting all our energy. Like, I'll give you 2 examples. One thing is that, like, when I was a star athlete in college in track, and one thing they teach you is that you have to, if you want to run fast, you have to have good form. And the reason is because, there's a lot of other factors, conditioning and everything else. But good form is very important, because if you're spending a lot of energy going sideways because like your arms are moving and your head is moving, then that energy is being misdirected in terms of going forward. Like if you're very focused, that's why they say like focus in life is important. It's the same thing like with distraction. If you're distracted on a whole bunch of other activities that aren't important, that's why they say do first things first. So in running, if you're going sideways, then you can't be going forward. And it's the same thing in politics. If we're so focused on beating the other guy, then we can't realize that, if we cooperate together. Now, compromise is not a dirty word. There's honorable compromise and there's dishonorable compromise. If you sell out your principles, that doesn't accomplish anything. If everybody gets half a loaf, that's not necessarily good either. But if you can, give and take in a way, like, in a marriage, you have to give and take. With your kids, you have to give and take. So in your job, you have to give and take. In all areas of life. In a store, you have to give and take. You give something and you get something. It should be the same thing in politics. You shouldn't expect, that your side is just going to always predominate. It's not healthy and it's not good. So, I do a lot of, I've written 18 books, and some of them are on the psychology and spirituality of success. And if we don't elevate our mindset, like mindset is everything. If you want to know how strong and profound a person's mindset is, just look at their life. If they're living in poverty, and I'm not saying like, luck isn't a factor, it's like you could be like a really good person but develop cancer or whatever. So I'm not saying, there's no luck involved, but a lot of it is merit. A lot of it is meritocracy. It's like people that are good people and have the right mindset usually wind up on top. Not always, but, often. People say that you lie, cheat, and steal your way to the top. No. If you lie, cheat, and steal, you might elevate for a while, but, character is destiny, and eventually these things catch up to you. So if you want a better, government that you can respect, like people don't trust their government, then we have to be better people. And we have to hold our government to account by holding ourselves to account, because the government is us. We elect our representatives, and the government is just people, like business is people. People say business is bad, or business people are bad, or rich people are bad. These people are just us. People are people. And I'm not saying all people are the same, but, we have thousands and thousands and maybe millions of people in government. These are people that were, born and raised in families. And, if they're not doing, things that are productive to help all of us, it's because they come from a society where we have a mindset of a lot of people that think that way. That some of them become representatives of our government. So, if we want to have, a great government, then we have to be a great people. And if we want to be a great people, then we have to do the inner work, to make ourselves great people. So don't vote for me for president unless you want someone that is going to listen to what you have to say, because I respect everybody immensely. I think that I've been successful in business because I listen and I try to provide as much value, and I would do the same thing as your president if I decide to run. But don't vote for me unless you're willing to grow and have a little bit of a growth mindset. Don't put it all on your elected officials. Don't blame the other side. If you want to be better as a government and you want your elected officials to be better, then you have to be better as well.